your two hosts, Carlos and Dylan.
What's up, Gator? What's up, Gator Nation? We are back today for the preview show against the Texas Longhorns. We play them tomorrow. Yeah, the hype is not as it was towards the beginning of the season. We thought this was going to be a top 10 matchup. We also thought that DJ Lagway was going to be DJ Lagway of old. And we also thought Archie Manning was going to be burning up college football, and his struggles also continue. So it's going to be crazy to see who might win this game. I'm even leaning towards picking our Gators because I think they'll bounce back. That does not mean I don't believe Billy Napier will still be the head coach of our Florida Gators by the end of the season. He's got to rattle, in my opinion, 9 straight victories in order to save his job. 8-4, I don't think would cut it, especially after being garbage for the first 3 weeks, except for one game, which Dylan or I could be a quarterback, and we can beat Long Island at quarterback. And I'm in a wheelchair, so that doesn't tell you much.
That's true. I don't know about me. Well, I have to get out there first to really tell.
But Dylan, any updates to the availability/injury report?
Yeah. I mean, it came out yesterday. We saw a couple players we kind of expected to be out, most of them. And altogether, Florida looks a lot healthier than they were. Brendan Bett was not on it. That's really big. I think Brendan Bett's a really good player. Dallas Wilson is obviously the headliner. He's been back at practice. There's been a lot of talk about him. So that's super exciting. I mean, I think everyone was excited to see what he could do when we opened up the season. So finally getting to see him will be exciting. Nothing too much surprising. I would just say Florida's a lot healthier now. And, that's exciting. I mean, obviously, it's hard to be fully excited for this team anymore. But getting everyone back healthy and, getting to see a guy like Dallas Wilson is going to be super fun. So, yeah, nothing too new.
Okay, another question that just popped up in my head. It wasn't in the 5 that I gave you. I saw this on X actually earlier this week. And the fan base is the fan base, so I understand it, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Is the team starting to check out because someone wrote on X, Aaron Gates is getting his shoulder surgery because that's a sign that they're already checking out and Billy's going to be out the door.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get where they're coming from. I think that's a very popular thing to say. I mean, they said it when DJ Lagway was in the boot last week. They said,
yes.
Here he comes. He's going to redshirt. He's going to be out for the year. I think that's more of, the fans, the boy who cried wolf. They love to, kind of freak out and overreact to everything. And that's what you got to love about the Florida fan base is they're always, freaking out about something. But I wouldn't necessarily say this team's checked out. I mean, from everything that I've heard, from everything that I've seen, they're still super locked in. I think this group, altogether is not a group that checks out. I mean, you look at a couple players that you could say, all right, they could be out. DJ Lagway, for one, everyone thought he was going to be out. Realistically, I mean, he's not having the season he wanted to. He's struggling. A lot of the struggles are because he hasn't had time to, practice. So if we're expecting them all to kind of give up on the season, DJ Lagway would probably be the first one, who really needs to just take a reset, get some work in, get the work he needs, get the rest he needs. But that's not who he is. That's not who this team is. I mean, the same goes for Dallas Wilson. Dallas Wilson, true freshman, out for the first 4 games. If we were saying, everyone's quitting on the team, I don't think we see him back this week. So I think that is a little, Billy called it comical. I do think it's a little silly because at the end of the day, that's not how college football works. At the same time, I'm sure there's situations where that has happened. But, at the end of the day, these kids are getting paid a bunch of money. These kids are competitors. I think, the common misconception is that these kids think like the fan base and they see, we're 1-3, whatever. I don't care anymore. That's not how a lot of these kids, act. That's not how a lot of these kids think. And so, I'm not buying into that. Obviously, Aaron Gates has dealt with injury his whole career, I think it's very and that's also very unfair to a kid like him. That kid works his butt off to be on the field. That kid has worked his butt off from multiple injuries to be on the field. So I think it's a little, disrespectful to even insinuate that. I know, Twitter's going to Twitter. I know people on Twitter want to overreact. But, you gotta have some respect for the kids. I don't think, much of any of them would ever even think like that. And I think that's not something we need to worry about.
What do you expect? This also wasn't on the questions. What do you expect from Jabari Flowers now that Jabari is officially the third quarterback, or he's in the rotation? Because we know Billy loves these rotations. It's like you have starters, but they're not really starters 100% of the time. They rotate everything. It's like chess. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Shout out my guy Cam Parker. He wrote an article about Jabari, I think yesterday.
Yes.
Something like that.
He did. That's where the question came up in my head.
Yeah. Go read that if you haven't. He was a big talk of the press conference, I would say. Monday and Wednesday, we heard a little about him. He's a ball player, man. I mean, he made a play against Long Island. I remember, way back when I was asking questions about that play. He had a PBU in his time. He's super fast. Billy mentioned that in the press conference that he runs like a 10.3, 10.4, something like that. He's extremely fast. And, I mean, yeah, he's going to get extended playing time for sure. Like you mentioned, there's a rotation, and that's pretty common in college football, I'd say. You kind of, especially you want your team to be able to rotate. I wouldn't say with the injuries now, it's a little tougher. Now you're throwing out a true freshman against Texas. That's a little tough. But at the end of the day, Florida still has Cormani. They still have Devin Moore. And I think we start seeing the younger guys. You're going to need someone to step up. I mean, you lose Dijon. That's really tough. And you're going to need someone to step up. So why not be Jabari Flowers, who has all the skill and has all the ability. And, he was a big-time recruit. I know he reclassified, so it kind of, he shot down the rankings a little bit because he was a reclass. But he was a big-time recruit, and even with the reclass, he was a highly rated recruit. So I'm really excited for him. I think, would I say I love the fact that we have to run out a true freshman in some serious snaps? No, but at the same time, it's week 6? They've had time. They've had time to kind of get into the college football life. I know he was a late enrollee where he didn't show up early in the off season, but Billy said it himself. He said, he's worked his way. He got embarrassed a little when he first got on campus, but he's kind of matured. So I'm excited to see him. I think he's a really good ball player. He's got all the potential in the world. And, at one point he's going to have to step up. So why not be now?
Perfect. Is there anything we can take away from the Billy presser yesterday, or is Billy just being Billy, where he really doesn't say much and it's very hard to pull any information out of him?
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty, outspoken. He told us some good nuggets. I mean, he said Dallas Wilson was back. From what I've heard, I mean, we talked to Lagway on Monday, and we talked to a couple guys yesterday about Dallas Wilson, and they said he's, hasn't missed a step. He looks just as dominant as he was at the start of camp. So that's super exciting. I think Dallas Wilson is obviously the most exciting part of this game because, we heard so much about him. We saw so much of him in the spring game. When reporters got to go see practice, he was just moving different. So that's super exciting. Other than that, the press conference, obviously, I mentioned Jabari Flowers. He was pretty high on Jabari Flowers. He was pretty high on Lagonza Hayward is another one who's going to get more playing time in that same role. So that's exciting. I mean, he was a big-time recruit, big-time flip from Tennessee. I think he has all the measurables to be, impactful year one, and we're going to need to see that from him. Other than that, give Billy respect, and I think, he's kind of stayed consistent with his, faith in the team, so to say, like, his belief in the team, even with these injuries. I mean, we talked to him about, losing Aaron Gates, and we talked to him about losing Dijon, and he told us, there's a rotation there, and we are confident in all those guys, and he said the same thing with the D-line, and the D-lines looked, still solid without Caleb Banks. I know, obviously, you wish Caleb Banks was there, but they've still looked good. So a lot of respect there. I think the Gators' depth is very trusted, and I think Billy Napier is not, panicking right now, which is you want to have. I mean, I know a lot of fans want to be out there like, oh, look at him panicking. They want to see him kind of freaking out, but he seems pretty calm. And, if they're going to turn the season around, I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying there's a great chance they are. But if they are, he needs to be that calm presence, and he needs to keep the players locked in. So, press conference, you don't get too much, being that, we're week 6. We've asked all the questions that need to be asked. We just need to see it on the field at this point. But it was a good one. I mean, we got to talk to Cormani McLean, which was awesome. So, I think look out for Cormani to kind of break out here. I wrote an article about it. I talked about it a lot. I think he's breaking out.
I've done several videos.
Yeah, I think this is his time. But other than that, yeah, it just seems like Florida's pretty confident still, and we'll see if that, turns into some wins here.
Did you expect our friend Cam Parker's question to go viral? The question he made Coach Napier?
The play calling one?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, shout out Cam. I mean, you read Twitter.
Too bad Cam's not here. I would have loved to hear his response.
Yeah, well, Cam, sadly, guys, Cam is too important for us. He's too much of a celebrity. He wouldn't come on with us. But shout out Cam. You read Twitter, and everyone likes to say, oh, why are the reporters asking soft questions? Why aren't they, pushing Billy Napier? Cam went out there and did that, man. He asked them straight up. He said, what gives you that belief? And I think, there's a difference between being disrespectful with your question and what Cam did. Cam was very respectful with it. He was very, honest. And honestly, it's something that you want to know. It's not like he's wants to say, oh, like, you're not doing well as a play caller. Why? It's more of like, what we need to get into his head on why he builds that belief, because if they're going to be successful, it comes down to his belief in that. So I think it was going to go viral. A lot of questions do tend to go that way. And when it's a question like that, I don't think Cam asked it to go viral. I think he was genuinely just asking, a question that a lot of people are interested in. And, I thought Napier answered it better than I expected. At this point, when you're 1-3 and everyone's kind of dumping on you, everyone on Twitter is kind of attacking you, you kind of expect a little sass, a little pushback. I thought he was pretty, open about the question. I didn't think he took any offense to it. So respect there, and respect to my friend Cam Parker. That was a great question.
I loved it, and thank you for the video, Cam. If we get blown out by Texas, could we see Billy as finally not being the head coach at the University of Florida?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're at the point now, and we were kind of at that point against Miami where it's kind of just, you're waiting on the inevitable in some ways. I mean, you got to start winning. That's obvious. He was supposed to start winning at the start of the year. You're kind of sitting at a point where it's really hard to come back from this. And the only way, like you mentioned earlier, the only way he can come back from this is by going on a miraculous, undefeated run from here on out. Maybe you lose one more close one and they say, okay, well, we'll be really serious with them this time about getting a play caller, blah, 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 whatever. But I think we're at the point now where it's wait and see. If you do go out there at home in the swamp against a Texas team, yeah, you have the excuse that Texas is super talented. You have the excuse that, Texas is a top-ranked team and you are not. But those excuses don't really work anymore. And I think if you get blown out in front of your home fans who have already kind of seemingly checked out, a lot of them, I'm not saying the whole fan base is checked out, but a lot of them are. I think that is definitely something that they're not going to love as, the front office and stuff like that. So it will definitely be a possibility and a very big possibility. I think, another thing that we talked about a little bit is if they fired him before the bye week, players could still technically, since we were only 4 games in, they could still, redshirt and let this season be done and quit on the team, which I don't think, we necessarily believe any of the players, like I mentioned earlier. I don't know how many players actually do that. But at the same time, you live in a world where the transfer portal is huge. You live in a world where these kids are going to have all the incentive to leave if they buy into that. So I kind of get that part, and I'm not saying that was part of the decision, but that might be what bought him another week. Is we don't want these kids redshirting, quitting on the team, and then whoever has to take over a situation where it's even worse. You know what I mean? So this could be the week. I think if they get blown out, I think everyone will be done with him. I think already a lot of people are done with him, but I think it will start piling on. So we'll have to see. You never know with them, and you never know what's going on behind the scenes. You never know if stuff's in motion already or whatnot. So we'll see. I'm not ever going to say for sure that he is getting fired because I have no idea. I'm with you guys. I'm just in wait and see mode the same way you guys are. I'll start writing about it when it happens, but before then, I got nothing to write about. So it's more of obviously, if you get blown out in the swamp, it's going to be a really bad look on you. So we'll have to see.
What can we, or what would you expect coming out of the bye week from the Gators?
Yeah, I think, one of the reasons why
bye week number 1, by the way, because we have another one.
I think that one of the reasons why I'm more confident this week than other weeks, and one of the reasons why I could see a realistic upset happening is because we're coming off a bye week. I think, we've talked about it for weeks now. DJ Lagway missed practice. DJ Lagway needed to get reps. DJ Lagway is not comfortable. DJ Lagway needs practice. And
DJ Lagway's over bulked up too much.
Yeah, and this is a 2-week span, really. You had all of last week and you had all of this week's practices to kind of get him that work. I know they did a ton of 11-on-11. They did a ton of competition, good on good, getting him in those game reps and getting him actual serious reps. And, every player that's come out and talked, even Napier's come out and said, this was his best week of practice. Buy into that what you will. I think they say that about everyone every week, is that it's their best week of practice. But I'm not doubting that Lagway had his best week of practice. I think he's getting exactly what he needs, and that's reps. So, that's why, you go into this game and you can see a possible way where Florida comes out different. And I think for as much as we hate on Billy Napier's play calling, and as much as we hate on, and as much as we buy into the fact that other teams know what's coming because it's Billy Napier's same place he's ran for 6 years, as much as we think of that about that, last year when Lagway was healthy and when Lagway was confident and when Lagway was, at his best, he made that offense amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say that it was Napier just all of a sudden had amazing play calls. And,
no, it was DJ.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of us were super high on this team this year is we have a quarterback who can change an offense for the better in a way like that where, you might question Billy Napier, but with DJ Lagway back there, this offense could be explosive. So there's definitely a hope that we come out here off the bye, we get healthy, we get prepared. DJ Lagway is what we saw last year. And this offense, really, we only need this offense to be good, not great. Not even good. At some of these games, we needed them to be all right. You know what I mean? So if they can be good, if DJ Lagway can take them to the next level, with this defense, we can win any game. We could have won any game the last couple, with a good offense. So I think that's my hope out of the bye is that we see a different Lagway than we've seen. And we see a big-time upset in the swamp. And that's what I'm excited for. I think that it comes down to, listen, Billy Napier, this is a bye week in the perfect time for you needing to get back on track. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we could have had a better start to the year, but this is the last chance. This is a perfect opportunity for you to work in Lagway, get him right. So it's really his last chance to kind of show that he still can turn the season around. And I think, the bye week makes it a lot more realistic.
Cam got torched about this. He wrote another article comparing DJ Lagway's speech to Tim Tebow's speech. Different circumstances, obviously. Tim Tebow, we were 9-3 at the time. We're 9-1, I think. And we won the national championship. We're 1-3 now. Would you compare that so-called emotional speech, emotional talk that DJ had this past week or 2 weeks ago, compare to Tim Tebow's speech, or would you say it's totally just DJ being DJ?
Yeah, listen,
Cam did decide to compare the speeches, and he got torched for that article.
I have had to hear Cam bicker and yap to me for 2 weeks about how people need to read the article, blah, blah, blah. Why are people getting so mad at me? I didn't mean it that way. So
I haven't read it. I got to go read it.
Yeah, I will tell you guys, Cam Parker didn't mean that they were the exact same situation. He'll tell you that himself. I promise you, he will tell you that 700 times himself. But he, I get where he was coming at, and I think, like he'll tell you, you got to read the article because the speeches, the idea was the same. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, Lagway was trying to come out here and kind of give you the Tebow, we need to do better. And they do. And anyone, will tell you they need to do better. So I think the idea was the same. And no one, even Cam Parker does not believe the situations are the same. I think that's pretty clear and pretty obvious. You don't have to tell anyone that, it's a different season when the Gators are 1-3 and that team was a national championship contender. So, I get where he's coming from. And I think, it got taken out of context a little bit because at the end of the day, you look at it, we're 1-3, but that is a leader of men. Lagway's a leader of men. He's a super talented quarterback, the same way Tebow was. And he's, coming out here and saying, we'll be better. He's taking it, I'll be better. He's taking it at the chin, And I think, it was a great quote from him. And now we just need to see him act on it the same way that it was a great quote from Tebow. It might have been different situations, but Tebow came out and he acted on it. And, I don't think there's a world where after that quote, Lagway goes out and wins a national championship this year, unless, a miracle happens. But I definitely view the quotes in the same way of, just a leader coming out and saying what needs to be said and being pretty truthful. And, you got to respect Lagway for that one. And, I have a lot of respect for Lagway. I think a lot of people are changing up on him, switching up on him. He's a great kid. He's a great talent. And I think, he's been pretty upfront that he's not playing the way he wants to play, and he wants to change that. So we'll see in the coming weeks. But I get the idea about it. I think it was similar in the idea.
Gator Nation, if we do that turnaround and we go 9-3 and he wins the national championship, there's going to be a fourth statue outside the swamp.
You're going to have to apologize to Cam Parker, too. I know he's very sad, so you guys have
Cam,
to...
I love you. We got love for you over here, Cam.
Well, not me. I don't love Cam Parker. Just kidding.
And we're going to go into the expectations once we get to the game. So we're going to start with the pick'ems. Anything we can expect in terms of special teams? Maybe even, I know I'm beating a dead horse because Napier keeps saying that it's DJ's team. Can we see a Trammell maybe?
I think I'm pretty confident in saying no, we will not see Trammell. I know, it kind of feels so simple that, okay, you got one struggling quarterback, throw in the other one. But, at the end of the day, this is DJ Lagway's team. It always was. Even when we were 0-0, every single person, every single media member said, this team goes as far as DJ Lagway can take it.
Yes.
And that still remains the fact. I think, if you throw in, I think the idea of throwing in Tramel Jones is awesome, right? We saw him against Long Island, and he looked great. But the reality of a true freshman getting thrown into the fire against our schedule with Billy Napier calling plays, who we've already established DJ Lagway is kind of like, a way of, helping out Billy Napier's play calling.
Yes.
I don't think Tramel, a true freshman, would kind of have that same impact. And no disrespect to the kid. He's a great football player. I think he has a great future. But, it's more of just the idea is so great. But at the end of the day, this is DJ Lagway's team. I mentioned it. He needs the reps. He needs to, work on – he didn't have practice. I know that's kind of an excuse at this point, but he needs the reps. And I think we get a different DJ Lagway here soon. I think we see him kind of get back to himself. So I'm not quitting on him. I don't think anyone in the building is quitting on him. And I can almost promise you that Billy Napier won't quit on him, because really at the end of the day, if he's going to save his job, it's going to come with DJ Lagway. And I think he's known that for a while.
100%.
He knows that now.
100%. He's your centerpiece. Me being a coach, Tramel would have gotten a shot at LSU, but that's just me. But that's his centerpiece. He's gonna live and die by DJ Lagway. X, please stop asking for pulling, because it's not gonna happen. I keep asking it because I keep seeing it on X. People crying all over the place. But it is what it is. Gator Nation is Gator Nation, and we love you. And I'll tell you this much, Gator Nation. I just bought two jerseys of DJ Lagway. If we beat Texas, I'm wearing the black one for the post-game show.
I love it.
So let's start. Before we start with the pick'ems, have you guys heard anything about the running back rotation? Because now Jacoby Jackson may be done for the year.
Yeah, I didn't see. Is he done for the year? I didn't see anything about that. I just
He's out, but we don't know how long, because the article didn't say anything that I read. So
yeah, I didn't. That kind of snuck up on me. I didn't hear anything about Jacoby Jackson until he was listed as out. Shout out Graham Hall. He's a great reporter. Yes. He did something and mentioned Duke Clark was going to be that running back too, which is a surprise to a lot of people, and kind of a surprise to me.
Duke a freshman?
Duke, yeah, the freshman Duke, yeah. I mean, I was surprised because I was super high on Katie Daniels coming into the year.
Yes, that's what I thought was going to be number 2.
Yeah, so we'll have to see, but I think Graham does great reporting, and he knows a thing or two. So when he speaks, I listen, and I think that Duke will get a lot of playing time, and he has impressed. Early on, he's gotten touches. I think even in the LSU game, he was in for a lot of plays. So yeah, that will be interesting because Billy Napier loves to rotate running backs, and I think it's a good thing. You don't want to overwork Jaden Baugh, who is going through it in the backfield when your offensive line lets through a lot of guys you got to go beat. So it'll be a fun one to watch. I hope that Katie Daniels gets a chance because I loved his film out of high school. Every time I've seen him at practice, he looks great, in my opinion. But Duke Clark, shout out to him. I mean, as a freshman earning playing time, that's huge. And we'll see. He might, shock some people because, I've seen him and he's looked good too. So that's a one to watch for sure.
Okay, guys, we're not going to do the Thursday matchup, but I'll go ahead and do the Friday matchups and Saturday matchups. Even though you guys will see this on Saturday, I will go ahead and do the Friday matchups because I like some of these Friday matchups. Interesting to see a couple of them here. Western Kentucky at Delaware.
Yeah, this one starts off interesting. Delaware just upset my guys, FIU. I guess it wasn't really an upset. I think they were favored, but It was an upset because I was upset after watching that. But I'm still taking Western Kentucky here. I like what they have, and they're 4-1. They're pretty good. So give me Western Kentucky.
I'm taking Western Kentucky. I wouldn't. It's going to be a pretty even game in my opinion, but I still believe Western Kentucky by 10 at least. CLT versus USF, and USF finally is where they need to be unranked.
Yeah, USF. I mean, they had a great start to the year. I think Billy Napier really helped them out with that one. I think they got a little help there, but give me USF here. I still think they're a good team. I just think they were kind of getting a little overrated because they beat two teams that have proven to be overrated at that time. But
Exactly.
I still think they get it done here.
I'm going to take USF. I don't think CLT stands a chance, unfortunately. I think the USF is the better team. University of New Mexico against San Jose State University.
Yeah, this one's going to be a tight one. I mean, from all the research I did, I've watched San Jose State a little bit. They're pretty good. New Mexico State's, pretty good. I wouldn't say they're pretty good in the landscape of college football as a whole, but they're solid teams. I think I'm going to go New Mexico State here. It's going to be a close one, but I'll take New Mexico State.
I'm going to take San Diego State University because I need to catch up to Cam. I mean, not Cam. Dylan. Sorry, we were talking about Cam. I got confused.
Unbelievable.
This one is the marquee matchup for Friday's games. West Virginia at number 23, BYU.
Yeah, shout out BYU. I mean, I had a feeling Colorado was going to get them, and that game was close. I thought Colorado had them there for a second, but ended up being BYU's way. Got to put some respect on BYU now. West Virginia, I don't think is a great team. I mean, they snuck one out against Pitt a while back. I still don't think they're a great team. Give me BYU here.
I'm taking BYU. I don't think Rich Rodriguez still has the program where it needs to be. It's year one of his second stint. So the spread is not where it needs to be. And I think that defense needs to be fixed. He normally runs a 3-3-5, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think he has the pieces yet to bring back Virginia where he had him before he left West Virginia. So I'm taking BYU. Colorado State at San Diego State University.
Yeah, give me San Diego State here. I think their resume is a little better. They're at home here, so give me San Diego State.
I'm going to take San Diego State. I think they're the better team. University of Kentucky at number 12, Georgia.
Yeah, man. Shocker last week. Real shocker.
Mm-hmm.
Bama got him. I was super shocked by that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I still think Georgia is a good team. I'm not, as high on them. I started off the year thinking they were a little overrated. Then I kind of got high on them after that Tennessee win. Now I'm kind of, a little lower on them. I'm still taking Georgia here. I think they win this one pretty easily.
I'm picking Georgia. UK is back to being the doormat of the SEC East. So it's Georgia in a blowout. Give me Georgia in a blowout. Iowa State University at Cincinnati.
Yeah, this one's my first upset. I'm going Cincy here. I'm going Cincinnati. I haven't been the biggest fan of either team. Iowa State, I started to respect a little, but I'm just not too sure with them, man. I think they've won some close games against some teams that aren't that good, and I think they're holding on to that ranking by the smidge of their whatever. So I'm going Cincinnati in an upset here. I think they've looked like the better team, and I think a big upset here.
I'm torn in this one. I was actually watching High Top Sports yesterday, and Shelton picked Cincinnati. The other two, Dave and I guess they have on their picks, picked Iowa State because the spread I don't think is that much. But I think I'm going to go with Dylan on this one. I'm going to pick, and because it's Shelton, respect to you, Shelton, respect to the High Top team, I'm going to go ahead and go with Cincinnati.
Shout out my guy Shelton. No love for Dave since you picked the wrong team. Sorry, Dave.
I love you, Dave. You know that. Wisconsin at number 20, Michigan.
Yeah, I'm going Michigan easily here. I think Wisconsin, they've kind of, just been really not great this year.
They haven't
Um,
been Wisconsin.
yeah, exactly. Billy Edwards is back from what I saw. I think, I didn't watch that
Yeah,
game, but
I
I
think
saw
I
he
read
was,
that too. Yep, I think I read
yeah,
that too.
which I was high on them when he was playing. That being said, they haven't been good. I'm going Michigan here. Bryce Underwood is just so much better. So give me Michigan.
I'm going Michigan. I don't think was I said it while you were doing your pick. I don't think Wisconsin is Wisconsin or the Wisconsin we're used to. At least under Brett Bielema and the other DAD that used to be their head coach. Um, but I think Michigan is just Michigan. Yes, they're banned for 10 years because of what Harbaugh did, and Harbaugh can't come back to college football and all that mess. But Michigan is still Michigan. Michigan in a blowout. Illinois, number 22 at Purdue.
Yeah, this one I kind of considered the Purdue upset here. I'm not a big fan of Purdue in any way, but Illinois has not looked very good. But they did come out last week and they got USC, which was they actually did look good there. I'll give them some respect there. Um, I'm just gonna go with Illinois. I think they continue to roll, but they're just on a roller coaster, man. I can't tell if they're good or not. One week I'm like, oh, these guys stink.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I understand.
man, they're pretty good. So give me Illinois here to keep it going.
I'm going to go with Illinois. I don't think Purdue's as good as they have been in the past. If they bite me in the ass, they bite me in the ass. I'm going Illinois. This one is kind of surprising, and I think it is going to be closer than many people think. Unranked Clemson and Dabo Sweeney versus Belichick and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yeah, I like your call of this being close because when I looked at the spread and I looked at the game and I thought to myself, I could see this game being close. I think Clemson, obviously, getting it out there, the elephant in the room. UNC has looked really bad, and they have not, done anything this year. But at the same time, Clemson, on the other hand, has not looked very good either. That being said, I kind of came around to Dabo Sweeney and Clemson. They're going to get back on track, in my opinion, at some point. I think they're too talented not to. I think Cade Klubnik, I never thought was an elite quarterback. I kind of, overhyped him this year after I should have listened to myself last year in the offseason. I said he wasn't that good. Then this year I was like, okay, maybe he's good. And now he's not again. So I should have listened to myself, but I still think Clemson gets it done here. And, the more I think about it, I think it will end up being a blowout. I think Clemson will use this as kind of a get-right game.
Clemson by 14.5, over under 46.5.
I'll take more than 14.5. I think they cover.
I agree with Dylan. I don't think Belichick was prepared for college football. The pros are totally different than college football. You don't necessarily have full control of the kids that are going to go in your program. Plus, it's year one. I was giving him credit for being 6-time NFL champ, but college is college. The pros are the pros. And I've said this before. I don't know if Belichick will last his contract at North Carolina. So Clemson covering the 14.5, maybe 21 spread. But Clemson by a blowout. And I think they're going to be ranked, but they're not going to be in the college football playoffs. Kansas State at Baylor.
Yeah, Kansas State was one of those teams I was talking about that Iowa State, got, and we thought, oh, impressive win. It hasn't turned out that way. They're actually just a really bad team this year, which is surprising. So that being said, I'm high on Baylor. A little less than I was to start. Obviously, they haven't had the year that they wanted to, but I think they have a lot of weapons still. I think Sawyer Robertson is a really good quarterback still. So give me Baylor.
I'm going to go with Baylor, no questions asked. Kansas State has been shaky all season. They're not what we expected, and I say we because we spoke about this off camera. So give me Baylor. In at least by 10 or 14. Air Force at Navy.
Yeah, this one is a little weird. I'm going
Mhm.
Navy here. You know, these military matchups can go either way. You never
Yes.
know.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go Navy. I think they're just the better team at the end of the day, so I'll take Navy.
I agree with Dylan on that one. I think Navy's better than Air Force right now. Give me Navy by at least 10. Army at University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yeah. Army has had a super weird, season. They lose to Tarleton State, the D2 school. Then they get an impressive win, and then they keep it close against some teams. And I believe they're 1-3 right now.
1-3.
Yeah, 1-3 when it feels like they could be better than that. I'm gonna go with Army here. I don't know if I can trust them yet, to be honest, from what I've seen, but I'm still gonna go with them here. I think they get it done.
I'm going to go with Army just to play it safe, but I really think UAB can upset them.
Definitely.
So,
It's
give me
one
Army.
of those 50-50 games. I'll give you that.
Yes. Yes. Ohio at Ball State.
Yeah, y'all know my opinions on Ohio if you've watched before. Good team. Ball State, I'm still devastated that they beat New Hampshire in that game. Such a close game. Still hurts my heart to this day. Give me Ohio to avenge me here, and give me Ohio by 15 or more.
Give me Ohio. I agree with Dylan. Give me Ohio by 14 or more. Wake at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, shout out Virginia Tech, man. I mean, they get an interim coach and they look good. They've won 2 in a row. They had all the talent to kind of be a solid squad, and sounds like a team I know that could bounce back with an interim coach. So we'll have to see in the future there with the Gators. But at Virginia Tech, I'm taking them here. I think they're kind of having a resurgence with their new coach, and they look good. So you got to give them credit there.
Give me Virginia Tech. Wake hasn't been playing well all season. Give me Virginia Tech, and they seem invigorated with their interim head coach. So give me Virginia Tech. UTSA at Temple.
Yeah, this one I'm going UTSA. UTSA always kind of just feels like a safe pick at the end of the day. Temple, hasn't been bad, but I'm still going UTSA here.
Go ahead and give me UTSA. I haven't watched a Temple game this season, and I haven't watched a Temple game in about 4 years. So give me UTSA. Cam at North Carolina State University.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
And I'm not talking about Cam Parker.
Well, then I would definitely pick NC State. I'm disappointed in my boys. I mean, NC State gets upset by Virginia Tech, last week. Really weird one. I think they're such a unique team where it's like 1 week they look amazing, the next week they look awful, and you can never trust them. That being said, I'm still taking them here. I think, last week was kind of a letdown, and they'll bounce back in a big way. So give me NC State.
Yeah, give me NC State. I think that was a blimp in the radar. So, and just give me NC State at this point. WMU at Mass.
Yeah, this one I'm not going to talk too much about. I mean, not an interesting one. Give me Western Michigan.
Yeah, again, give me Western Michigan on this one. I'm not going to even ramble about them. I don't watch these two pretty much. Oklahoma State at Arizona.
Yeah, give me Arizona here. I like their quarterback, Noah Fafita. Not too much to say. Give me Arizona.
Number 7, Penn State at give me Arizona. Okay, State is doo-doo butter this year. Give me Arizona. Number 7, Penn State at UCLA.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it doesn't feel like it could be an upset, but at the same time, you never know. UCLA could come out and show you something that you didn't expect from them. Penn State, obviously, versus Oregon. I think a lot of people are overreacting to that game. I get it was at home. They had the home field advantage. They're supposed to be one of the best teams in the nations. But they ended up in overtime with a really good Oregon team. I'm not saying I'm as high on Penn State anymore. I think Drew Allar is never going to take that step that we all thought he could. I mean, it's really disappointing because every year it felt like, okay, this is the year for Drew Allar. I bought into it. His wide receivers are so good this year, and they're being misused. I mean, it's pretty sad. But give me Penn State here. I think they bounce back, and I think they kind of, put this one away early, and it's a blowout.
Give me Penn State, and give me Penn State by at least 28. I'm going to skip the next one because the next one is the one we cover at the end. So we're not going to talk about that one. So next game, and this is my first upset of the week. Vandy number 16 at number 10, Alabama.
I'm right there with you. I'm going the upset here. I mean, we both said it last week when we talked about it. I've been a big Vandy guy this whole year. I have been questioning Alabama. That was a super impressive win. You got to give them credit. That was an awesome win for them against Georgia. They have Georgia's number, which I wish one of our coaches had Georgia's number, like they got going on over there. But at the end of the day, I still think Vandy's a better team. And now you're kind of coming off a huge win. I think this is a game that Alabama loses. I think this is a game that, we saw it last year too. It was like Bama 1 second looks really good. Next second, they fall asleep at the wheel and they lose a game they shouldn't. They lose to Oklahoma in a really bad one. I think that's what happens here. And obviously Vanderbilt, I respect Vanderbilt a lot more than a team like Oklahoma last year. I think that Vandy is just a really, really good team. And Bama's kind of sleepwalking into this one off a win. And they get, beat 2 years in a row for Vandy. So give me the Commodores here.
They got an electric quarterback. Alabama has Billy Napier 2.0.
Okay.
So give me Vandy by at least 14.
Listen, wake me up when Billy Napier wins a game against Georgia. That's what I'm waiting on. Hopefully this year.
And I think Alabama's going to be looking for a new coach after this season.
I can see it.
So give me Vandy by at least 14 on that one. And too bad that we play at the same time because that means I don't have two monitors right now, so I can't watch two things.
Yeah, I know. I'll be peeking over during the
I'm going to have to be texting Dylan.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the score of the Vandy game?
I'm gonna be on the field.
Oh, you're going to be on the field, so you can't.
I'll be watching on my phone, maybe. If it gets to a blowout, I'll put it on. Just kidding. Obviously not.
Text me if Vandy wins.
I got you.
Okay. Because I love Pavia.
Yeah, he's a dog, man.
Boise State at number 21, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm still not impressed with Notre Dame. Obviously, I picked Arkansas last week, and they got blown out. That was a really ugly, loss for Arkansas. They looked just bad. There was a play where this guy, he did one cut, and the entire defense was lost, and he walked into the end zone. They looked bad. I'm not going to give in that Notre Dame's a great team yet. I need to see it more. That being said, this should be an easy one for them. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, give me Notre Dame. It's not the Boise that we're used to. I thought it was going to be the Boise that we used to, but when USF blew the top off Boise, it kind of told me it's not Boise that we're used to. Give me Notre Dame by at least. University of Virginia at Louisville, and University of Virginia is ranked at number 24 in the country.
Yeah, shout out Virginia, man. I think we all know why we love her. We love us some Virginia right now. Definitely made our struggles a little less, hard to deal with when you see something like that. That being said, this is a tough game to pick. I think Louisville's they've been good. They had a lot of hype coming into the year, and I'm not sure if they've looked as good or it's felt as good as it should, but they're 4-0. They got it done against Pitt. They're favored in this game, I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct here. And
I'm looking for it right now, buddy.
I think they are.
Louisville given 6.5.
Minus 6.5, huh?
Yes.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, that's a lot bigger than I expected. I'm taking Virginia here. I guess it's an upset. I think, obviously I'm not going to give them exactly this much hype because they beat FSU. I think that FSU beat themselves, and I also think that FSU is not a top 10 team in the country like everyone was trying to make them out to be. But at the end of the day, I don't think Louisville is that good, and I don't think they've looked that good. And I think Virginia gets it done here. I mean, I believe is it at Louisville? It's in Louisville, right?
It's at Louisville, yeah.
That's gonna make it tougher, but I'm still going Virginia. Give me the Virginia upset.
Give me Virginia, even though I do agree with Dylan. FSU got all the hype because they beat Alabama. Alabama was in the top 8 or 5 at the beginning of the preseason polls. And like we spoke at the beginning in the first episode, preseason polls don't mean anything. As we can see, Alabama is now back on the top 10 because they beat Georgia. But to me, Alabama's really not even it's a top 25 team at best, and Florida State beat themselves.
Yeah,
but still give me UVA. Louisville is not the Louisville we're used to, so give me UVA, and UVA escapes in a close one, and they'll still be ranked. But that's just because they beat FSU.
Yeah.
Washington at Maryland.
Yeah, this one's gonna be an awesome game to watch. I mean, one has Demon Williams. He didn't necessarily ball out against Ohio State, but they were in that game, and it felt like one or two good things go their way, and maybe they find a way to win that game. Shout out to Ohio State for not letting that happen, but I still think that Washington's a really fun team to watch, and I think Maryland with their freshman quarterback is a really fun team to watch. That being said, give me Washington in a blowout here. I think they cover. I believe they're only -6.5. I think they cover that pretty easily. I think they blow this team out the water.
Yeah, Washington give it 6.5.
Yeah, I think this is a big bounce back for them. I think they're on a different caliber than Maryland, and I think this is a big win.
Yeah, give me Washington. I don't think Maryland's been playing the way we expected. So give me Washington at least by 21. University of Louisiana Monroe against Northwestern.
Yeah, this one I don't got too much to say. I think Northwestern gets this one. I think they're just a better team. Both teams have had decent years, but I think Northwestern gets this.
Give me Northwestern. I don't have anything much to say on this one. Oregon State at Appalachia.
Yeah, this one, I think this is called an upset.
It is.
Going
I know where you're going. I was going to go there too. Go.
I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised by the line. I know Oregon State's been flat out bad this year, but I don't buy into App State being a better football team.
Give me 1.5.
1.5. Wow. Yeah. I'm taking Oregon State to cover. I think Oregon State beats them by maybe. I'll go Oregon State by 14. I think they bounce back. I think they're a better team than they've looked, and I think this is finally a week where they can put it all together and not be, the team that we've seen on the field, which is really bad. I think this is an upset. Give me Oregon State.
In a regular year, it wouldn't be an upset, but in this year, it's considered an upset. Yeah. Give me Oregon State by at least 10.
I like it.
I like this matchup, but Syracuse has had injuries. Syracuse at SMU.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. I think this would be a better game if Syracuse didn't lose their quarterback. They didn't look very good against Duke. Duke kind of just smashed them. So I think SMU does, much of the same. I like Syracuse. I think, Fran Brown is doing some magical things there, but I think SMU just comes out and blows this team out.
I agreed with Dylan 100%. If it was the quarterback was still there, then I would not consider it a blowout. I think it would be closer than a blowout. But I expect SMU to just run these people over at least by 21 or 28 points. FIU at the University of Connecticut.
Yeah, this one was so tough for me, man. I've been picking FIU. They let me down recently. That And then you go over on UConn, and UConn actually has been pretty good this year. So I really hate to do it because I really want to pick FIU here. If I was, a more dangerous man, maybe I would pick FIU here. I'm gonna go with UConn though. I think UConn wins this game.
Agreed with Dylan. I've watched a couple of FIU games this year. I'm actually going to go to two of them, one later this month and one in November, because those tickets were accessible to me. Plus, one of my best friends invited me to go and hang out with them. But give me UConn in this one. FIU has been playing below competition when it's competition, so give me UConn. JMU at Georgia State.
Yeah, this one's pretty obvious for me, at least. James Madison gets this win. I think they're a pretty good team this year.
Give me James Madison. Like Dylan said, we've talked about James Madison on the show. Give me James Madison. Central Michigan at Akron.
Yeah, give me Central Michigan here. I think Akron's not a very good team, and that's all I got to say on that one. Central Michigan.
Yeah, give me Central Michigan because Akron is garbage.
Yeah.
Eastern Michigan at Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going to keep picking my boys at Buffalo. I mean, they're a good team. Eastern Michigan's not a good team. Give me Buffalo here.
Give me Buffalo with Dylan, too, because Buffalo just playing well. Miami of Ohio at NIU.
Yeah, give me Miami of Ohio here. I kind of like Miami of Ohio this year. I'm not, necessarily super confident on them, but I'm taking them here. I like what I've seen so far, so give me Miami, Ohio.
NIU played pretty good too. Give me Miami of Ohio. I got to stay close to Dylan. Give me Miami of Ohio on this one. Kent at number 5, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I wanted to go look at who's starting for Oklahoma at quarterback because John Mateer is out. I wasn't able to find that. I didn't, do too much digging. I was at basketball. Sorry, guys. I was watching some national champions play. But I think I'm still going to go Oklahoma here pretty clearly. We'll see what they look like without John Mateer, but that'll be an interesting storyline. But I still think they win.
Give me Oklahoma. I don't think Kent stands a chance, even with the backup quarterback. Michigan State at Nebraska.
Yeah, this one's a big upset for me, too. I'm taking my boys, Aiden Childs. I'm taking Michigan State. Nebraska just doesn't do it for me, man. I thought they were good coming into the year. They just haven't passed the eye test for me. And Michigan State, on the other hand, I'm a big Michigan State guy. I was last year. I'm still this year. It was obviously, USC loss was tough. Still, I'm taking the upset here. Give me Michigan State.
Give me Michigan State because the Nebraska quarterback seems to have the DJ Lagway syndrome right now.
So well, don't disrespect DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway is better than Dylan Raiola. I'll tell you that much.
Where they're both struggling. Yeah. So give me Michigan State.
Dylan Raiola never had the freshman year DJ Lagway had, though. I'll tell you.
Texas State at Arkansas State.
Yeah, this one's tough. Kind of two schools that I feel confident in picking when they're playing worse opponents.
Yes.
I'm just gonna take Texas State here with, what? I don't know. I might flip my pick here. No, I'll stick with Texas State just for fun. Let's go Texas State.
I'm gonna pick Arkansas State.
There we go. There we go. Make it interesting.
CCU versus Old Dominion.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with my boys, Old Dominion, man. They look good this year. They're a good football team, so
I'm gonna stick with Old Dominion. Texas Tech at Houston.
Yeah, mad respect to Texas Tech.
And Texas Tech is number 11, so if the playoffs were today, they'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they look like a playoff team, to be honest. They look really good. Houston almost, fell apart there, I think, last week. So give me Texas Tech here. I think, Houston's a solid team, but Texas Tech gets them.
Give me Texas Tech. They're just on a roll. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech ends up in the playoffs. That's how good they're playing. Crybaby, Dan Mullen and UNLV Rebels at Wyoming.
Yeah, give me UNLV to cover here. Give me UNLV to win. I was surprised. It's a close on paper, right? 2.5 or something.
What the heck is going on with these
I
three
know,
and a
right?
half?
I
UNLV giving 3.5.
3.5. I
They're
think
giving a lot
they
of credit to Wyoming.
yeah. I mean, UNLV has its problems. Obviously, we've seen that a bunch,
Well,
but
we
they're
spoke
4-0,
about it.
man. Yeah, therefore they're 4-0. So you got to give them a little bit of credit. I think this one's not as close as Vegas predicts. I think UNLV gets the dub.
Give me UNLV. If Wyoming beats them, uh, I think the Nevada University might be looking for another head coach real quick.
Oh man,
USA at Troy.
yeah, this one's tough. I mean, we've given respect to Troy these past
Yes,
few
we
weeks.
have. Yep.
But that being said, I just think South Alabama's a good team. I think they're underdogs here. I'm taking South Alabama with the upset. I think they're a good team, and I think they get it done.
I think South Alabama is a better team than Troy. Give me South Alabama. FAU at Rice.
Yeah, this one was weird for me, man. I'm going FAU with the upset. Rice is favored pretty heavily. Rice has had the better year. I just don't think they've looked that good. And I think, yeah, FAU's sitting at 1-3, which really, you look at that and you say, oh, I don't want to pick them. But they've had some tough opponents. I think they're better than their record says. I think they're kind of a weird team that can get these upsets done. So give me FAU here in a bit of an upset.
Give me FAU beating Rice also. I agree with Dylan on all of what he said. Give me FAU on this one. Minnesota at number one, Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't think this is a game. I'm not a big fan of Minnesota. I've said that, many times. Give me Ohio State here pretty easily.
Give me Ohio State on the blowout. Minnesota should not even get off the bus. Number 3, Miami at number 18, which to me they're overranked. I mean, because of the loss, even though they shot themselves on the foot, they should be in the 20s. I'm still surprised that they're in the teens. Number 3, Miami at the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah. I can see a world where FSU wins this game the same way that we saw a world where FSU beats Alabama. I think they
Yes.
have, the offensive scheme with Gus Malzahn where they can catch a team slipping, man. They can come out there and they can look really good. And then you see games against Virginia where it's just like, never mind. They're not a good team, right? So I can definitely see a world where they catch Miami slipping. I can definitely see a world where that offense, looks unstoppable. And that's been a thing with Tommy C for his whole career. At Boston College, there were times where Tommy Castellanos looked like an elite quarterback. Then there was times where he stunk, and they wanted to get him out of there, and they benched him, right? So I think FSU is going to be like this all year. It's either, you come out and you dominate and you look like a top team in the nation, or you look like you did against Virginia and you realize we're not a top team in the nation. That being said, I think Miami's too good. It pains me to say this, but I really do think Miami is one of the better teams in the nation. I think Florida's defense made them look very beatable. I thought Carson Beck didn't look too good, but it was also raining. You got to give him credit for that. But I still think Miami gets it done. I think Miami handles being in Doak Stadium, and I don't think FSU can catch them sleeping. So give me Miami here.
I can see a world there's an upset. And giving Cristobal his first loss of the year. But I think Cristobal built this team correctly. Unlike a coach in Gainesville, which we dearly love and want him out of town. The trenches are built correctly. We saw that against Florida. This team can rush the passer, can protect the passer. I expect this to be close because it's it's Miami, Florida State. But I can also see a world where Miami beats Florida State by 28 or 35. But give me Miami. Miami is a playoff team, and it pains me to say it because even Urban Meyer does not believe that Miami's back because I read it somewhere. So I think it was on Gators SI, if I'm not mistaken, or Swamp 24/7. He does not believe Miami's back. He thinks it's a 1 year thing. I'm not saying Miami's back, but I'm saying Miami can slip up and fight for the national championship for a 1 year term, thanks to the recruiting and the transfer portal work that Cristobal has done. But give me Miami in this game. I don't think
Yeah, I think the
go ahead.
one thing I think the one thing that, FSU can kind of lean on is Mario Cristobal kind of seems to love to lose games that he
He
shouldn't
choked.
lose. Yeah, even against Florida, we didn't look good on offense at all. They had
No, if we look good on offense, we would have beat them.
Exactly. And I think, you look back on it, Cormani got that pick. It was 13-7, and, we had the ball. We had a real chance to win that game. I think FSU, coaching-wise, is a better coach team than we are. I think they have an offensive coordinator, which is a huge plus that we don't. So
Yes.
I could see a world where they come out and they beat this Miami team.
Billy, are you listening?
Hopefully not, because he might be mad at me. Sorry, bro.
Who would have said this is one of the marquee matchups of Saturday going into the season? Mississippi State at number 6, Texas A&M.
Yeah, man. Shout out Mississippi State. Turn their season around. Turn their whole identity around. If this was in Mississippi State, I probably would be picking a different team here. It pains me to do this. I'm still taking Texas A&M just because, they're at home. I think, that home field advantage will work wonders for them. And, but shout out Mississippi State, man. They had Tennessee on the ropes. They probably should have won that game. Yeah, you got to give them credit, but I got to go with Texas A&M still.
I'm going with Texas A&M because if we're going to turn around our season, we need Texas A&M right where they are at. Give me Texas A&M. And that doesn't mean I believe fully in Billy, guys. Don't freak out. I'm just saying if we're going to turn around the season.
Yeah.
Colorado at TCU.
Yeah, give me TCU in a blowout. You guys know how I feel about TCU. I was devastated last week when they lost. Man, that was just sad. Josh Hoover kind of, you're still someone I think is a really good quarterback, but you failed me, man. 3 interceptions. That was ugly, man. So I think they bounce back in a big way. I think they blow out Colorado. And I still think they should be ranked. I think they're disrespected by most of the country. Most of the country kind of just shrugs them off and says they're not that good. I think Arizona State's really good. I think they should have beat Arizona State. They didn't. I still think TCU is a great team, so give me TCU.
Give me TCU. Colorado's not Colorado now, but I've spoken to the fact of before that primetime thought about retirement. So he's got 1 foot out, 1 foot in. Give me TCU in the blowout. Kansas at University of Central Florida.
Yeah, this one was a closer spread than I expected. -2.5. Kansas got. I think Kansas covers. I think Kansas wins in a blowout. I think they're kind of being underrated because, the past couple weeks haven't been, their greatest, but I still think they're a really good offense. And I don't think UCF's that good. So give me Kansas.
Give me Kansas in this game. It's a 7:30 game, and UCF is not that good. Give me Kansas. Tulsa at Memphis.
Yeah, give me Memphis here. I think Memphis is the better team. Memphis has the better year, so not too much to talk about there. I think Memphis gets it done.
Give me Memphis. I think Memphis is the I agree with Dylan. Give me Memphis. They're just the better team. Duke at Cal.
You guys know how I feel about Duke, man. I love Duke. I think Cal was a little overrated, so give me Duke here.
Yeah, go ahead and give me Duke. Go ahead and give me Duke on that one. This one's interesting. I don't know what to pick on the last. Well, not the last one. Second to last one. Nevada at Fresno State.
Yeah, this one is interesting. I don't necessarily trust Fresno State. I'm going to pick them here. I think Fresno State's a better team. But I think anything can happen in this one. But give me Fresno State here.
Yeah, give me Fresno State. This one's a coin flip for me. It could go either way. Give me Fresno State. I'm going to go with Dylan on this one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the one you want me to, Dylan and I, to talk about, we're going to give our 5 keys and give you the prediction of the final score. Do we believe that Florida's going to beat Texas? We don't know. We're going to tell you in just about a little bit. Our unranked Florida Gators at number 9, and Archie Manning and all the hype. I'll tell you this much, Gator Nation. SEC, a program in SEC Network, I think it's SEC Nation, is going to be in Gainesville on Saturday. So they still believe the hype of both quarterbacks because at least the program is going to be there. Josh, Plate, picked Florida to upset Texas. So let's see what we pick. Florida, Texas, give me your 5 keys and your final score, and I'll do mine.
Yeah, so 5 keys. I think number 1, and Billy Napier mentioned this a lot in the press conference, is just a home field advantage. I think, at this point in the season, a lot of fans are kind of giving up on Florida. But at the same time, man, you got a team that hasn't looked that good on offense coming into the Swamp, which is super hard to play your offense in. You have a young quarterback in Arch Manning who hasn't really proven it yet. I think that's the number 1 factor, is just having your fans get riled up, be there early, make it hard on the offense, because at the end of the day, we've seen the Swamp win games, and we've seen this defense be able to, keep us in games. So I really could see a world where the Swamp's buzzing, our defense is buzzing, and, we sneak one out here. Number 2 is just DJ Lagway feeling more comfortable. I think after the bye week, let's all hope that he's back to his normal self. I think he needs to come out here. We need to take deep shots, man. That's where it really comes down to. Against Miami, he had this lowest ADOT of his career, which just can't happen because he's such a great deep passer. And, holding him to I think it was like a 3.5, 3.7 is not great. So we need to see DJ Lagway. We need to see the deep ball. Number 3 is just using all your wide receivers. Napier mentioned how nice it is to have all the healthy wide receivers back. You're going to have Aiden Mizell. You're going to have Dallas Wilson. You're going to have Vernell Brown. You're going to have Eugene Wilson. You're going to have J. Mike. All of those guys, all the guys I just listed, need to be schemed up. They need to get open. They need to be throwing the ball a lot. I think, J. Mike, I was super high on. He hasn't gotten the targets he deserves. VB3 is one of the faster wide receivers in the nation, one of the better freshman wide receivers in the nation. He needs more, looks. He needs more deep passes. Getting those guys going and really in the deep game again, that's important. Number 4 is just that defense staying bought in. I think, you have some injuries there, and you could see some fall off, but I think if they stay bought in, if they stay, buzzing, getting to the ball, hitting hard, we can win this game, and we can win any game with our defense. So that's number 4. And lastly is Jaden Ball, man. Get him going, man. You haven't got him going in a while. He looked so good to start the year. He's looked good in every game. Our offensive line hasn't looked too good, obviously. But, I mean, even that against Miami where you run the ball and you come out at halftime and you have a great drive when you're running the ball super successfully, I think we need to get Jaden Ball more involved. And yeah, that's my 5. Prediction time. I mentioned it. I think, I see a real world where the Swamp is buzzing, the fans are active. Arch Manning and the Texas offense has almost been as bad as Florida's if you look at the numbers, and they've had a way worse schedule. They've had a way easier schedule. I think that there is a real world where the Swamp takes this game over. The defense causes mayhem. They cause turnovers. Texas struggles to score. And let's say we get the DJ Lagway of, even you're looking back at the Ole Miss game. DJ Lagway wasn't 100%. DJ Lagway wasn't a world beater, but he had a couple plays here and there where you see how special he is. He's beating you over top. He's making the plays that no one else can make in this offense. And that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm going to predict here. Obviously, it's not going to be a popular one, and it probably won't come out true. But I'm sticking with my Disney Gator. I'm going to take Florida here, 21-14. 21-14. Give me the Gators. I think Texas struggles to score, and I think the Swamp takes over this game.
Okay, my 5 keys. If we see we need to see DJ Lagway back up his speech and DJ Lagway of last year. Billy Napier, please stay out of your own way. Don't get too cute. Give that ball to Jaden Ball. Let him run people over. Make simple plays for DJ to get comfortable. And throw that ball down the field because now you have your full complement of wide receivers downfield. Please don't get in your way. If you want to stay the Florida Gator head coach, even though you're 20-22 currently, you need to start by winning this game. Most of us don't believe that you're going to be the Florida head coach by the end of the season. Cam even said it on Nighttime Sports yesterday. He doesn't see a world where Billy Napier stays the Florida head coach unless he rattles in 9 straight wins and we end up in the playoffs by some miracle. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stay with my Disney Gator and my buddy and friend here, SI reporter Dylan Olive. Give him credit where credit's due. I believe Billy's going to stay out of his own way. I'm praying at least that he'll stay out of his own way and actually call a decent game and be in his bag. I'm giving the Gators the upset. Texas falls 24-21.
Love it.
Where can they find you and all your work and the rest of the crew?
Yeah. Gators on SI. We're pumping out content. Go check it out. I'm gonna have a couple stories coming out before the game. I think one on Kofi Asar, another on Cormani McLean. So look out for that. Obviously, go check out Kyle Lander's work over there. Go check out Tyler Carmoda's. We had him on the show. Cam Parker is, I guess my employee Cam Parker. Go check him out too. And yeah, you can find my tweets, most of my articles over at DylanOlive_UF. And I appreciate you, Carlos. I appreciate, the Carlos Nation. I appreciate Gators Nation, and let's hope for a win this week.
Guys, we have Brandon Ocean on next week's pregame show from Locked On Gators. I hope to have some people from the Locked On Podcast Network on. If not this season, next season, as he gets to know me, we're going to have some more people from Gators SI jump on the show too. And we're going to continue to have special guests. But stay tuned to our post game. And as always, and go Gators.